The following is a Thorpe TV production brought to you in cooperation with Jack Thorfinson. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the SOCS Show, brought to you live from Mr. Holster's Ranch, way up north near the Canadian border. Let's have a big round of applause, because here he comes direct from the bar, Mr. Holster! I bet he's coming from a bar, Jack. He'll die in one. Mr. Holster's the big... Oh, Mr. Holster, hey, that's me. Howdy, Parge. Yeah, it's me, Mr. Holster. Jack, you really like this bar, don't you, buddy? Jack, you got to move over to your director's chair, pal. There you go. Thank you, sir. Well, there we go. Another SOCS Show. Let's see what Jack got for us tonight. Surly Brewing Company Heat Slayer. Kolsch, K-O-L-S-C-H. It sounds Polish, Jack. Kolsch style beer. Well, I haven't the slightest idea what that is. It's 5% alcohol, so it's just plain old beer, Jack. Jack, this is just plain old beer. Jack, this is just plain old beer. I can't have any rye whiskey anymore. Can't you get something with a little more than 5% going for it? You got me 2 cans. I can have 2 cans because it's 5%. Okay, well, there you go. I'll show that to you. It's made in Brooklyn Park, I think it is, or Brooklyn Center. I'm not sure. Brooklyn Center. Yeah, well, either one's kind of... At any rate, so let's pop the top on this one, as Machine Gun Kelly would say. There we go. It's a can, so you can take a whiff of the can, I guess. That's all I can do for you on this one. Let's take the old ranch beer glass and... Oh my gosh, Jack. Seriously, couldn't we just tip them upside down during the week at least? Well, West Texas does. Let's get this show on the road. I'm not getting any better at pouring beer, Jack. Got an awful lot of head there. This doesn't... Looks kind of yellow, Jack. Well... We might as well just pop the top on this one, too, before the wife comes along and sees we have 2 beers, Jack. We'll get rid of that can. So let's put it behind the bar where no one can see it. Yeah, we know how to play this game, Jack. Okay, you ready? Here we go. It's going to be a bit of a feat to get to the beer from through all that foam, Jack. To the sunny slopes of long ago. Well, that doesn't heat you up, cool you down all at the same time. Actually, not bad beer, Jack. It's really pretty good. You get past the foam. Tell you, Jack and I went down to the VFW last night to celebrate his return, his coming back from Vegas. I'm afraid we had a little too much to drink, and when I got up this morning, even my hair hurt. That one in the center. You know, my most important meal is breakfast, mostly because if I'm not home by then, my wife gets really mad at me. My wife, Katie, cooked me a beautiful breakfast this morning. It had been so long since I'd had a home-cooked meal, I'd totally forgotten what Alka-Seltzer tastes like. My wife had a terrible accident at her breakfast, though, this morning. She drank my grapefruit juice by mistake. By the time I got done taking care of the cattle, she was passed out. Jack said it's just a shame that a man, by the point he reaches... I know I ruined this joke, Jack. I knew I would. But in my defense, Jack, seriously, in my defense, you've got lines written, scratched. Listen, look at this. Look at this joke. I mean, seriously, how am I supposed to read that, Jack? Jack, how am I supposed to tell what that joke is? What do you mean I've said it so many times I should know it by heart? Jack said it's a shame that by the time a man reaches the point he can read a woman like a book, he's too old to start a library. It's a good joke, Jack, but well, that's me. Mr. Holster is always losing his glasses. I never remember where I put them down once I empty them. I went with my wife for 6 months, and then she wanted to break up. I looked at her and said, "Is there someone else?" And she looked at me and said, "There must be." You know what the difference between God and a doctor is? God doesn't think he's a doctor. I went to my dentist the other day. He was a little shocked when he looked at my teeth. Apparently, it was the first time he'd ever seen cork fillings. And most people see their dentist twice a year. I see mine twice in the first visit. You know, when I was in the 3rd grade, I was the most advanced kid in my class. You know, the other kids were only 7, and I was 13. The pilot on a flight on the way to Hawaii the other day announced over the intercom that the plane was going down. They were going to crash in the ocean, and he didn't think anyone would be able to survive the crash. Out of the silence, a man yelled, "Damn that doctor!" I knew he was lying. He said I was going to die of cancer. There we go. Good monologue tonight, Jack. Good monologue. Yeah. The cards are better than they used to be when you put them on the cocktail napkins. But really, Jack, some of these you've crossed stuff out. This one I couldn't read this one at all. This is what we're talking about tonight on the SOCS Show, guys. Just a second while I whip this out. I like saying that because if it was Ebomi's channel, everybody would, they'd turn the screen off as fast as they could. I got out my Glock 21. We did a shooting video with it last week. Make sure it's empty. It's a little stiff because it's got a 20-pound spring and a stainless steel guide rod in it that we put in there to handle the 10 millimeter. It's got a 10 millimeter conversion barrel in it. And the conversion barrel is made by Storm Lake. It's a match grade barrel. Let me tell you, it is so accurate. This gun was just an absolute pleasure to shoot up till a point that it wouldn't eject a round, which would happen like every 5 or 10 rounds at a random point. Just would not work. And much better. And very frustrating for me to have that happen because I'm the kind of guy that I want to know what's wrong and how to fix it. And I think I figured out what's wrong, and I think there's no way to fix it. And I think you're pretty much going to have this problem with any of these. You do this conversion from 45 to 10 millimeter, and that's the breech face here. It's sized for 45, so the 10 millimeter, there's a little gap on either side. And I think when it's extracting around and pulling it back, sometimes for some unknown reason, the case head pushes towards the left side of that breech face and comes unhooked. And I don't think there's any way to solve that, because I don't think I can really make my extractor go in any further than I have without creating trouble. But I could be wrong. But even if it is in further, it's got to go far enough to force that casing all the way to the wall on the other side and still have a hook. And I just don't think that's going to happen. I'm debating whether I take the extractor out and try to file it down. It's a this extractor, it's a horseshoe affair. And you file down inside the shell of it so it seats further in. And boy, I took more than I'm really hesitant to take any more off because I don't think it's gonna do the job. I'm hesitant to wreck it, even though it's only an $18 part. It's $18. So I'm hesitant to take more off. But I might try taking just a little more off and see if that makes a difference. But boy, right now it's, if the case couldn't shift sitting dead center, this extractor is all the way up to the case. Now, unless I've taken too much off and I'm actually, as you're pulling it back, forcing it towards the wall and forcing it to turn. But boy, when it works, the thing throws it like 15 feet. That would be the only thing I could try, is to try to make the extractor claw dig even further in so that it can't bounce or can't scoot itself away from the extractor. It's possible. I might try that. I'm thinking about that. That's the only thing I can figure to do. There's nothing you can do about the breech face being bigger. Right now I've got the extractor, so it still functions, but barely. When it's loaded, you can touch the little flag that sticks up on it and tell that you got a loaded chamber, the loaded chamber indicator. And if I file it down anymore, it's going to be like this when it's loaded. You won't be able to feel it. But I don't know if that's the end of the world. But I may try that. But I'm hesitant to try it. I'm hesitant to file it down even more because I really feel that I'm pretty maxed out on it. I don't know. But boy, I would not hesitate at all to buy one of these Storm Lake barrels as a replacement for the original barrel in the same caliber. It's like a Model 19 by a 9mm barrel, so you can shoot hard cast bullets or lead bullets, or in my case, the frangible bullets, because I think the frangible bullets will shoot better. I think that was my problem with this when I was shooting it with the 45 the last time on the hard target range using frangible bullets. That's why I was missing the target on it, is because I don't think they come out of that barrel and fly right. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think that's my issue, because I'm having it both on the 19s and the 45. I don't shoot them as well on the hard target range as I do in any other range that I'm using normal bullets. So, but boy, I would not hesitate one bit to buy one of these barrels for every one of my Glocks so I can use it on the hard target range. Let me tell you, that super accurate this thing was. It shot so nice. I'd really like to get this thing to work, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I think that breech face is just too big, and there's no way I'm going to. I don't want to start having the ejector forcing it. I don't know. I don't want to have feeding issues, you see. That it gets so pushy that when the round's chambering, it's actually pushing the thing to the other side of the breech face so much that I start having chambering problems. But I don't know, maybe that isn't an issue. Maybe I'm worried about something I shouldn't have to worry about. And I should just go ahead and make that thing go in as far as I can. I don't know. Something to think about. But boy, when it worked, it was tossing them great 15 feet. I had a couple strings there where it was just an absolute dream to shoot, a beautiful gun. And the thing was throwing those rounds, and I felt like, oh, I really got something here. And then all of a sudden, boom, I got a failure to eject, and it jams up. So there you have it. There's my Glock 21 with that Storm Lake barrel. So that it's a 10mm instead of a 45. Well, there you go. Thanks for tuning into the SOCS Show tonight. You all right, Jack? Yeah, I know it's hot, isn't it? Well, all right, fine. But don't drink too much of it. Why didn't you just bring your own beer? I mean, seriously, Jack. What is that, Jack? Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. From Mr. Holster and Jack, go out and stay safe. By the way, that's 14 minutes and 50 seconds of your life you'll never, ever, ever get back again.